Salahuddin Ayyubi, warrior, leader, and a name that struck fear in his enemies yet earned the respect of the world. But who was the man behind the legend? In the pages of history, there are names that echo through time. Few are as revered as the one who brought justice to the oppressed, mercy to the conquered, and unity to a fractured world. A name that stands for honor, courage, and wisdom, Salahuddin Ayyubi. But how did a young boy from a modest background become one of the greatest figures in history? Stay with us as we journey through the life of Salahuddin Ayyubi, the champion of justice and mercy. Born in 1137 in the city of Tikrit in modern-day Iraq, Salahuddin's early years were far from a royal upbringing. His father, Najm ad-Din Ayyub, was a Kurdish officer, and his family lived under the influence of the Seljuk dynasty. Despite their humble beginnings, Salahuddin's destiny was anything but ordinary. Even as a child, Salahuddin showed an exceptional mind. His education in both military strategy and Islamic studies laid the foundation for the man he would later become. But what set him apart was his unshakable faith and commitment to justice. His early training in the court of the Zengid dynasty and under the famous military leader Imad ad-Din Zengi taught him not only how to wield a sword, but also how to rule with fairness and wisdom. In 1169, Salahuddin's life would take a defining turn. At the age of 32, he became the vizier of Egypt. As a leader of the Ayyubid dynasty, his primary goal was not only to defend Islam, but to bring unity to the fractured Muslim world. The Crusaders, having conquered Jerusalem, were a looming threat to the region, and Salahuddin made it his life's mission to reclaim the holy city. His leadership was unlike any other. He was a master tactician, winning crucial battles with precision. His army was not just a force of warriors. It was a disciplined, united force driven by a deep sense of purpose. But what truly distinguished Salahuddin was his character. In a world where the idea of victory often meant cruelty and bloodshed, Salahuddin's victories were marked by justice and mercy. Perhaps the most famous of these battles was the Battle of Hattin in 1187. Facing overwhelming odds, Salahuddin's army triumphed, decisively defeating the Crusaders. Yet, what followed was not a massacre, but a demonstration of mercy. Rather than seeking revenge, Salahuddin offered safe passage to the captured Crusaders, a rare act in an era of brutality. Even the defeat of his enemies was marked by his sense of justice and compassion. Salahuddin's actions at Hattin would forever change the course of history and inspire generations to come. In 1187, after nearly 90 years of Crusader occupation, Salahuddin launched a campaign to reclaim Jerusalem. With his forces marching towards the city, the Crusaders were faced with a choice: surrender or face destruction. The city's Christian inhabitants feared the worst, recalling the horrors of the First Crusade. But when Salahuddin took control of Jerusalem, he once again proved his commitment to mercy. Rather than slaughtering the inhabitants, he allowed them to leave safely, ensuring that the holy city remained a place of peace for all faiths. Salahuddin's reign in Jerusalem marked the return of the city to Muslim rule. But more importantly, it demonstrated that true power lies not in vengeance, but in mercy. As the years passed, Salahuddin's health began to deteriorate. He had achieved his dream of reclaiming Jerusalem, but his work was far from over. In the years leading up to his death in 1193, Salahuddin continued to work towards unifying the Muslim world, securing peace and justice for his people. Salahuddin Ayyubi passed away on March 4, 1193, in Damascus, after a life dedicated to justice, unity, and mercy. His death was mourned by all who knew him, Muslim and non-Muslim alike. His legacy, however, lives on to this day. Salahuddin's life embodied the teachings of Islam, and his legacy reminds us of the importance of justice and mercy. Let us reflect on the words of Allah from the Quran. Indeed, Allah commands you to render trusts to whom they are due, and when you judge between people to judge with justice. Excellent is that which Allah instructs you. Indeed, Allah is ever hearing and seeing. Surah An-Nisa 458. May we all strive to live by the values Salahuddin Ayyubi so courageously upheld: justice, mercy, and unwavering faith. Rest in peace, the champion of justice. Like, share, and comment your thoughts below.